What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down fresh out, and you tune in to another edition of Prison Talk. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I have with me here today Garrett, who's here to tell some really real stuff for you guys that you guys have been asking about and bringing some diversity to the channel. So, Garrett, man, what as far as your experience and what you've lived through as far as the prison system, how real would you say the movie Shot Caller is? Because a lot of people, hit us up about that movie, and they ask me. I said, man, I'm not a white guy, so I can't really elaborate on that story as far as the movie's concerned.
I think, man, for the Cali system, man, right? I think it was pretty close to spot on, man. I think they did a good enactment of how it was portrayed in that life. So whoever did that, man, I think they did a good job.
So would you say that, like, realistically, somebody could come into the system basically with just a DUI and end up getting life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, that dude's come in with, we had a guy in Arizona, man, Bonsai Bob, came in for jacking a car 5 years, ended up getting a death penalty. Ended up death penaltying him, man. He was just butchering cellies, celly after celly after celly, man, butchering them. They call him Bonsai Bob.
Once he got into the system, he just lost it and just started just on one, or just didn't care, or really no hope, or.
You know what, man? I don't know if it's that you don't care. I mean, take myself for example, man. I went into prison as a kid, and I was 20-something years old, man. And even though I was highly involved in gangs already, I wasn't at the level that I got to when I got into prison, man. Yeah. I walked into Central Unit, man, and it was time, man. I was gonna make people know who I was. I wanted that notoriety. So I think a lot of times it's not just like you go to prison and then like prison changes you. I think a lot of times you get into prison, you're already mentally starting to work on becoming somebody that you don't even know who you are. And prison makes you that. You know what I mean? It gives you that platform. But like I think a lot of us already had it.
Well, for instance, like in that movie, that guy, I think he had a family. He had he was getting visits. I think he had a great job on the street. What would make a person turn to that, man? I mean, did he get hooked on drugs inside, or did it just a mental switch? Because even when in the movie, when the guy, he was booking people in prison and he finally got out. And then he was still, because of what his status was active on the street. So,
yeah, that's what I mean, man. Is like, so I think, even when you watch that movie, right, you can see when he was playing basketball with his friends, he was kind of like a pushy kind of guy. You could see that he was like, they would push on him and he would like want to go at him, right?
So, on the street when he was playing before,
yeah, before.
Yeah.
And then when he went into prison, right, got that DUI, went into prison. He had to make himself, he wasn't going to let nobody push him around, right? Because somebody told him that you can't let nobody take advantage of you in prison. That's a lot of times how it happens, man. You hold somebody's dope, or you hold somebody's piece, or, you know what I mean? You become his dude, whatever you want to call it. And I mean that gay way. I mean, like, you're the guy, you're the big man's guy for a while, and then next thing you know, you're putting in work, you're becoming that guy.
Yeah. And in the movie, he worked his way up the hierarchy to where he actually became, what they call it,
He's a brother, man.
Yeah,
he became a brother.
He became a brother.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're basically, you're calling shots, guards are doing stuff for you. You're on a whole nother level.
Yeah. And then at the end, you watch the movie. At the end, he kills the main dude, right? He kills the dude that's running the whole system.
Yeah. They put him in there in gladiator pit.
He kills the dude that ran the whole system. Now he's running the whole system. So yeah, that can happen, man.
And was he considered? Was that based on an AB?
Yeah, that's based on Aryan Brotherhood. I mean, there was some skinhead parts in there too, man. But yeah, it was definitely.
So for somebody like that, even during the time he got out, is he obligated to still have to carry out things on the street to provide, or was that a choice he made once he got out? Because remember, he was out for a minute. He kind of went and looked at his old family, but he still was involved in, then he had to take out one of his homies.
So, and also you remember in that movie, the main dude told him if he doesn't do what he's told him he's going to do, he's going to go after his family.
That's right. That's right.
So when he got out, right, he was obligated to do, because they were holding that over his head. That was his whole purpose. That's why he went back to prison, because
to take care of that dude, because he didn't want nothing to happen to his previous
Correct.
family.
Like mentally wise, he wanted to go back to his family. He wanted to get out and be done, right? But he couldn't. They held it over his head.
Wow.
And does that happen? Absolutely.
Wow. So you got people who are basically they try to, they can't get away from it.
You can't. You can,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
Yeah. 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 Because you know, there was somebody else we had on the channel, Badger, and he was saying how he went in for something minor, and then and this is how easy you can get caught up. You heard somebody talking about something, and they said, oh, you know, and you're trying to be cool. So you're like, hey, you know, oh boy, he's blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, is that right? Go handle it. Oh, what do you mean handle it? So now you done opened up because you done heard something or repeated something, and now you put yourself in a situation where you got to be a torpedo. Mm-hmm. You know, have you seen stuff like that happen too, where guys overstep, like by thinking they're cool, repeating something or bringing something to the table, and now it's opened up a whole nother can of worms.
All the time. That happens all the time. You know what I mean? And the reason why it happens, like in that scenario, is like if you're talking dirt on some dude, be ready to handle it. Be ready to
That's right.
take care of it, man.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? If I'm talking shit about some dude, man, and he hits the yard, I better be ready to handle my business.
That's right.
Because if not, they're going to take care of me, and then they're going to go take care of that dude.
And see, that's the thing about it too, because somebody would be sitting there on the yard and thinking, oh man, you know, boy, he was at, you know, and some dudes actually, you know, coerce a guy. You're talking, what about so-and-so? Oh yeah, man, he was a bust, boop, boop, bop, 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 bop. And then, oh, you know, so-and-so's he's in R&D.
Yeah.
He about to,
Yeah.
so handle your business. Oh, he's here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in R&D, bro. He's getting processed right now. He's going to be in the yard at lunchtime. And it's like, dude, it changes everything.
Yeah. He either goes and takes off from the yard or he handles his business. That's the only two things that happen.
Yeah, it's crazy like that. You know, I've seen that happen, and I've also seen where, you know, within the two factions of different black cars on the yard, make two dudes like, you guys go handle your business, because both of y'all was, you know what I mean? And it's like everybody's watching, and if you don't handle it, they're gonna book you.
That's it.
So it's basically, you know, and these dudes, you could tell they were scared to death, man.
Yeah.
They both have blinkies on them, and they had to go. And they had to handle it, man. You know what I mean? They couldn't go back to the unit without handling it. You know, so I know that happens a lot. And, you know, a lot of people think, oh, man, it's like, you know, what would you do? You really ain't got no choice.
You don't have no choice. You don't have no choice, man. It's literally kill or be killed in there sometimes, man. Which one are you going to do?
So when you were in the feds, were you, you know, allowed at any point to interact with anybody black or Hispanic?
Yeah, you can interact. You can't really do deals that much. You know what I mean? You deal with your own. You know what I mean? Especially in a pen, man. In a penitentiary, man, you're with your car, man. And so of course you hang out and talk and
in passing or something.
Even like playing cards and stuff. You're cool with playing with other races, man. But don't get in debt with other races. You know what I mean? You don't owe other races, because the fact of the matter is, and they're not going to let you get in too far in debt with them, knowing what you can and can't do.
That's right.
For the simple fact is that in the feds, man, if I owe you and I feel like I don't want to pay you, you can't do nothing to me.
Yeah.
You run my people and tell them to do something about it, but I mean, you got to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, it's your word against mine, and that doesn't happen, because that's why people don't interact that way.
Yeah. I tell a lot of people too that everybody's watching everything you're doing. So, like you said, if somebody sees you at the gambling poker table, they're like, Garrett, man, I see you at the poker table, man. What's going on over there? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or they see with so and so, and they're like, hey man, the homie said you're making money on the yard. What's going on? I mean, everything is right there. You're under a microscope every day, man.
Yeah.
You know, so I know a lot of that is, you know, you have eyeballs on you even when you think you don't have eyeballs on you.
Absolutely, always. In the feds, it's tension too, man. There's always tension on the yard. You can walk outside. I mean, from the time they crack the doors to the time they lock the doors, you're in boots. You're suited and booted, man. Just like you see in movies and hear in movies and the feds, that's really what it is, man. If I went to the shower, man, I went to the shower with two dudes walking me to the shower, standing outside, and they're knifed up.
That's right.
Because they're waiting, because somebody might try to come get me in the shower. You don't know. It's at any point in time in the feds that they come.
Have you ever seen anything like that, like go down? Because I know I seen a dude try to rush a dude in the shower, and he came out of there hollering. Dude had a knife right in the shower with him.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I mean?
Everybody in the feds has a knife on them. I don't care who. If you're about something, you are.
Yeah.
You have a knife on you all the time. Usually either titanium or plastic.
Yeah.
Go through metal detectors, right?
That's right, yeah.
But you're all, or ceramic.
Ceramic, yeah. I've seen
Ceramic.
guys, when they melt down, they'll get, it looks like a goddamn cylinder where they melt it down. It's like a long ass thing, and it's like you said, it don't go off a metal detector, and dude just have it up on them.
Yeah,
and
always.
It's like, it's like a plastic that they done melted down over the course of a week, and that thing's like a cold, it's like an icicle.
Dude, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 fist fights in the feds, and I've seen probably hundreds of stabbings.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no fist, meaning is there's no one-on-one fist fight in the feds.
No, ain't nobody going head up in there.
Nobody.
Yeah.
They're not letting you take that chance.
Man, it's some serious business. As far as like what you've seen, because I've had somebody else talk about like interaction with guards. You ever seen anything as far as like any of the homies, have a guard in there handle, making them do stuff for them, or the guard doing stuff for guys? I know a lot of times that's one of the things, in every spot. I know usually you have one dude in one car. He makes some shit happen.
Always.
And,
there's always something going on with the police, man.
Anything that you like, not naming names, but like where, pretty much they had a guard like kind of like just working for him.
A lot. No, it happens a lot, man. I'm not gonna say a lot. It happens.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a relationship for like 6 months, man. 5 months, 6 months with the guard, man. Literally. I mean, in a maximum secured prison.
Wow.
It just, it's the trend, man. Is that they a lot of times they go to work there because they want to be around guys, man. You know what I mean? And what happens is guys pull them, man. Mm-hmm. It's usually like, let me get a cigarette. You know what I mean? If I can get you to give me a cigarette, I got you.
Already, huh?
I got you. I can get anything. Starting with the cigarette, man. That's all it is.
It's so crazy too, because I told people that the mental game in the feds, in order to have something extra, is so sharp, and you got guys in there, master psychologists. They've been doing time so they just know personality traits, dispositions, they read body language, all that stuff is like almost like at its heightened awareness in there, because these are survival instincts.
You have to. You not even just in prison, man. When you're on the streets and living that life, you have to be. You have to be able to know like everything about a person, man. I used to go to parties, house parties, dope parties, whatever kind of parties, and I would always be the guy sitting in the corner watching everybody. I'm watching how you're moving your hands, what you're wearing, how you're acting, the way you control yourself. I mean, everything to a T, man. You got to know people's ticks. Same thing in prison, man, is you're watching everybody, man. You're learning, because you got to know you got to know your enemy, right? Mm-hmm, That's what you're doing. You're knowing your enemy, and everybody's your enemy because you don't know who's coming for you.
And one of the things, as far as the enemy, everybody looks for somebody that looks opposite, and usually people that look like you. I know, like you said, I mean, in where I was at, the people that are getting booked by brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't, because I was cool with some, a lot of white cat had, but it's the dudes like who are looking like, hey man, he's got to go. And it's somebody that looks like you said, that's gonna, you wouldn't even expect it.
It's usually your closest dude. It's usually your boy. You know what I mean? That's usually how it works. Is especially that we talked about earlier. Is if usually it's your boy bringing the stuff on you because he wants to try to get in good with you, right? And you make him go handle it.
Yeah.
Go deal with that, man. Come back and see me when you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, everything from sharing a bowl of goddamn spread with somebody to somebody saying, hey man, you want to hit this, this joint with me? There's so many different things that tie in walking the track with a dude, and this dude, he done did some dirt, and now he done put you in it because they're assuming, okay, he's with him, so Garrett must be part of that whole little thing, so get him too.
Yeah.
And it just is this crazy how you get pulled into so much shit, man, just unknowingly, really.
You do, man. Prison is like a psychological war, man. Literally what it is, right? It's a battlefield. And it's psychological. You got to be able to be 2 steps ahead of the next guy.
And in your opinion, do you see there being any type of like real rehabilitation outside of rehabilitating yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of briefed over it, but I helped get this reentry center that we got going out here in Arizona, man. It's the largest in the nation, man. And basically, dude and women, it's straight out of prison. So you're coming straight out of prison into this 4-point Sheraton hotel. You're doing 90 days and you're getting life skills, right? And you're teaching people and showing them that they can change. You can make a difference, right? Yes, I believe the system is broken, but I also believe we can fix it.
But I mean, as far as like yourself, and I know like for myself, like I made a mental commitment to like I had to change something. I did it on my own. It wasn't like the guards like, hey man, we're gonna hopefully you get out there and be successful. They don't give a damn. And ain't nobody really caring about you changing. But I tell people all the time, I said like you can't, like how some dudes they'll do their time and then wait till the last year, I'm gonna start programming, dude, you should have been doing that your whole bid to kind of get the momentum going. Because when you get, closer to the date, you see guys that get nervous. They purposely do something to get more time. They, want to get caught with some dope so they can make it seem like, oh man, they caught me with this, but they really didn't want to go home. They're scared, and a lot of people, I've seen it, guys who are shot callers, guys who this and that. Oh man, they were tripping in a halfway house, man. I smoked a little weed. I'm like, dude, you back already? I'm like, damn, it wasn't even 90 days. And it's almost like a defense mechanism where it's a safe place. They go back here and they don't want to tell nobody that, they're not ready. They can't handle it.
So I got out of prison in 16, right? The end of 16, and I was done. And I was on that hierarchy, super high hierarchy. We'll just leave it at that, right? Anybody that knows me knows where I was at. And I just wanted to be done, man. I just didn't want that life, man. I spent all of my 20s, all of my 30s, and half of my 40s in prison, right? And I wanted to be done. I didn't know how to be done. And so I started going around out here. They had these coalition meetings, that's what they're called. And it's all these state representatives, senators, these high-end treatment center owners and then these ASU professors, and they had all these high-end people sitting around these rooms once a month, and they're gonna change recidivism, right? They're gonna change the system. And I used to sit in these rooms, and my whole thought process was like, how the fuck you gonna change something you don't know nothing about?
That's right.
Like they've never been in prison, they've never lived my shoes, they've never had to stab somebody or whoop somebody or get stabbed or get whooped or whatever else that goes on in there, right? You don't know that lifestyle. I kept going to these meetings, and I finally went to one of these meetings, and this dude stood up, and he's the owner of one of these high-end treatment centers out here in Arizona, and he was talking about how he made 5 laws, and it's going to change the recidivism rate, and on and on and on he went, right? And I looked at my partner, and I was like, bet you money it's non-dangerous, non-repetitive, first-time offenders. I said, that ain't going to change shit. And he's like, well, why don't you say something? So I stood up at the end of the meeting, and I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, how many of the laws that you changed are for people like me? Gangbangers, murderers, liars, people have done 20, 30, 40, 50 years in prison. How many of them laws are for guys like me? And he was like, none of them. And I said, when you start changing people like me, that's when you change the game.
That's right.
And he was like, whoa. And of course he did this thing where like, hey, I want to talk to you after the meeting, get your number. I need to get you down to the Capitol and talk on the Senate and all this other yah stuff. Me, I was looking for a dude in a business suit, right? I was looking for that image because that's who I thought was going to help me get that message out. And this man comes up. He's in faded blue jeans, flip-flops, and his T-shirt had PON on it, right? And I'm looking at him, and he was like, young man, he goes, if you want to go back into prison, you'll follow me. And I was like, weirdo, right? This dude, what are you talking about? He's not, because I'm looking for an image. Mm-hmm. And a lady walks up next to him, and she hands me this card, and it said GCHH on it, right? And I looked at my boy, and I was like, dude, are they some like weirdo church people or like what's going on? He was like, no, they're really good people. They're going to have the coalition meeting at their spot next week. Let's go. I said, all right. So next month. So I went to the following month. First person I walked in is I seen a dude named Najee, and I had known Najee in prison the whole 25 years I've been in prison, right? I seen Najee did 41 years. Old Muslim dude. He's badass. He's been in since the 70s. And I seen him, and I know him because we've stopped riots together. Literally, me and him talking to stop a riot. I give him a hug. I see another dude that I haven't seen in 17, 18 years, man. He gives me a hug. And then I walk to the back, and there sat that old man. And he said, I told you, you want to go back to prison, you'll follow me. Not even a year later, those dudes walked me back into prison. I walked on the yard. Now, a lot of people know this. I'm an STG gang member, right? I'm documented. I'm not supposed to go on prison yards. Well, at least that's what they say, right? And they walked me back on the yard. Now, I'll tell you a story about the yard. In 2011, I was on this yard. It's out here in Arizona, right? And I'm on the yard. And there was a riot at another yard. And so they're bringing people from that yard to our yard and from our yard to that yard. They're switching it up because of the riot, right? Because that's what happens. When a riot happens on a yard, they just start moving people everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we get to A to Z, and we find out that a dude that's coming on that bus is my mortal enemy. Me and this dude had shootouts on the yard, on the streets. We've tried to get each other on the yards. I mean, this dude is my mortal enemy. I'm gonna kill this dude. I need to get him. And so this is on a Wednesday. So on a Wednesday, I get two of my close boys, and I plot it, plan it, and get it ready to go. Get my knife, everything's set up. On Thursday, he's coming on Friday. On Thursday, I'm out on the rec yard working out. And I see all these cops run into my yard, and then they run into my cell. And I'm thinking, like, what's going on? And they call on the radio, and they're like, you got inmate deets on that rec yard? And they're like, yeah. They're like, get him away from everybody immediately and cuff him up. So they cuff me up, and they take me off, and they put me in this little room. And the next thing you know, here comes CIU, which is a criminal investigation unit for DOC, right? They're street cops. Mm-hmm. The head dude who's the STG coordinator is in there, right? Him and like about 10 other SSUs, right? Which is like gang task force. And he's like, we got you. I was like, you got what? He's like, we got you, man. I was like, what do you got, man? He's like, we know you're going to murder that dude, such and such. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. We got your knife. And I was like, what knife? And he puts a little bag and it drops. And I was like, where'd you get that? He said, in the vent between the cells. And I was like, that's a common area, dude. That anybody could have put that there, right? Long story short, man, they escorted me off that yard and said I'd never walk back on that yard ever again in life. You fast forward to 2019, that man and that group, GCHH, got me back on that same freaking yard. There were dudes on that yard that were on that yard when that went down. And here I walk in, and I walked in with a pink Vans long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and pink Vans shoes, right? The purpose of that was I wanted dudes to see that change is possible, right? Everybody knew who I was on the streets, and they knew what caliber I went to. But now let them see what it's about, man. Mm-hmm. That's where it's at, man. Is prison real? Absolutely, it's real, man. It's rock or sock, life or death, whatever you want to call it, man. Knives, weapons, everything. But can you beat it? Yes is the answer.
Yeah, man. That's actually a testimony for people, like you said, to actually witness that. And I think it's great you were able to do that, man. You know, I haven't went back to any of the prison yards I was on, but through social media, a lot of people who see me, I never even talked to, have said, hey, man, I remember I used to see you going to the law library, I used to see you blah, blah, blah. So dudes is watching. And it's like, it's crazy. People, one of the dudes, I hadn't talked to him in 20 years. I met him at Long Park USP. He got out and he hit me up like, dude, I see you're doing your show, man. That's great. And I think it's cool when we can give back that energy because it brings hope for guys who see that you've been able to turn your life around and be successful.
How many times have you, and you've been on the yard, so you know, how many times you've been on the yard and your homeboy leaves and he's like, man, hey bro, I'm gonna write your girl, I'm gonna send you some money, I'm gonna go by and see your parents, or you send them out with a kite to go take care of somebody or do something, and it never gets done, right? Every time it never gets done.
Nothing.
And so for us, man, it was the fact is like, we didn't want to be those guys, man. When I left the yard in 2016, I said, I'm coming back, man. I said, mark my words, I will be back, and not in orange. And then it happened, right? God made that happen, but it happened. That's the point, right?
That's right.
Is we just wanted people to know that, like, you don't have to live that life no more, man. You don't have to want to be that tough guy. That's just,
right.
I mean, that's what it is, man. Like, are tough guys real? Absolutely, man. If you want to say I was one of them, cool, whatever. But, like, we're all want to be tough guys, right? Because there's always somebody tougher than us. That's why I say want to be tough guy, right? Because we always want to be somebody. I don't want to be a tough guy no more, man. I just want to have a life, man, and I want to help people, and that's what I do, man. Every day I go into work, man, and I watch a new guy or 2 or 3 new guys that just got off the yard walk up, man, and we give them a hug and we're like, welcome home, bro. Like, we're happy you're here, because that system's broken, man.
Yeah, and I think your message here on the channel will resonate with a lot of people because people need to hear it out the mouth of somebody real. You know, somebody that's lived a life. You know, a lot of people, they have a misconception of what it is to be a tough guy. Being a tough guy is taking care of your kids, being with your wife, being with your family, being a father, you know, teaching your kid how to throw a football, you know, teaching your son how to lace his shoes up. That's being a tough guy. It ain't, you know, how much fear or pain you can inflict on another man. Being a tough guy is, you know, inspiring other young men to be, you know, positive and do the right thing. And that's what this channel is all about, man. So that's why, you know, having you here, I think it just puts a whole nother perspective on, with your background, on what that image is, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, it's Hollywood and entertainment, man. It's a lot of falsity out there.
Man, my whole body from head to toe, eyelids, face, neck, from head to toe, political ink, right? It's real. It's political ink. Everybody knows me, knows what it is. And people have asked why I don't get it taken off. Why don't I get it covered up? Because I can. Go to tattoo shop and just cover everything up, right? But that's my testimony to show people that we change.
That's right.
Right? I watch people now go into tattoo shops and get all these political ink, man, and then they go to prison and tell people that they earned all this ink, man, and you're just like what is it? And what is it for, man? I earned all this ink. Everything I got, I earned it, right? And what did it get me? It got me 25 years in prison, right? That's what it got me. Now, I got out, changed my beliefs, changed who I was, told everybody I was done, leave me alone, I'm walking away. It is what it is. And what that got me was a beautiful life, an amazing fiance, a baby boy. I'm 47 years old, man. I got a 10-month-old baby, right? I got 2 nice cars. I got a nice house. I make great freaking money, right? And I get to watch people come from prison every day and hopefully change their lives, right? That's real game. That's what a gangster is. That's what a tough guy is, right? That's what a real man is. People don't get that, man. They think that going out there carrying a gun or robbing somebody or having a shootout, that's being a tough guy, man. Man, that's easy. Anybody can do that.
Right, that's right.
Anybody can do that, but not anybody can raise a family, right? Who can be a productive member of society, can help change people's lives, put out positive vibes, give people hope. That's real. We say it all the time, man, in my facility, man. Najee, which hopefully one day you'll get to meet him, man, but like I said, he spent 41 years in prison, man, and he always says that, man, a real gangster ain't got nothing to do about prison and ain't got nothing to do about the streets. He goes, it's about taking care of responsibilities every day of your life. That's being a gangster. That's the real shit.
Hey, man, that's real talk, man. And like I said, man, I tell the youngsters all the time, if you put all that energy you put into trying to be this mythical character, representing the hood, street, block, whatever, race, whatever, into being a productive father figure, son, brother, role model, you will be blessed. And and I kind of like, once I really looked at that, man, and I try to tell people, man, I like, dude, you are willing to die and live and die by this, but why not live for this? You know what I mean? Your life would be so much more without the headaches.
It's funny. I tell all these. I got a lot of OGs that come out. I say OG because they're older than me, right? Mm-hmm. And they come out of prison and they think they don't have no skills to do anything, right? And I tell them all the time, man. Some of you guys are CEOs.
That's right.
Think about it, man.
That's right.
You had product, right? You ran distribution. You had marketing, right?
Yeah.
You did sales, right?
Yeah,
you were a CEO of a company, man.
That's right.
You a genius, right? You have the skills, man. People that go to prison, man, smart motherfuckers, man. Think about it, man.
I know.
Some of the most ingenious people you'll ever meet are in prison, man. Some of the baddest artists in prison.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
The best fighters in prison.
Yeah.
Right? All the things that we look forward to because we want to just put it behind a box. When if you come out here and do it legally and legitimately, man, your life is amazing.
That's right.
People can really make amazing things. I'm blessed, man, that like I was able to live through the life that I lived. I speak in rooms of recovery all the time. I've spoken a lot of different places, man. I'm blessed to be able to have made it through what the life that I lived through, because it was full of hate, discontent, darkness, evil, whatever you want to call it, man. Shootouts. I mean, it's like a freaking Hollywood movie, right? But I was blessed to get through that, because now what I can do is look back and say, I don't want to see anybody have to go through that, man. Like, you don't have to go through what I went through to try to be tough, right? You want to be tough, man? Get a job, right? Go to school. Get a career.
That's right.
Get a family. Be a man. That's what it is, man. My whole life I played man. I was a boy playing man. So every time I get an opportunity to share or talk or whatever else, man, it's the fact is this, man. Like, doing dirt don't get you nowhere, man. It really doesn't, man. Oh, I mean, it can, right? But it takes a long time, agony, and people say, well, look at you, man. You did all that dirt, man. Look at your life now. But yeah, dude, I wish I didn't have to go through all that.
Man, I wish I think,
man,
when you're sitting in there, I'm like, oh, man, I got, another 100-something months. It's like, dude, I wish, like you said, I could have gotten that message without having to go there. So that's why I try to do it through social media, so that they don't have to go there. If you catch this before, it can maybe take you on a different path. You can avoid all of that heartache, because not everybody comes out like you and me, man.
And that too. And so the ones that haven't gone to prison, that hopefully makes them see different, right? But the ones that are in prison, that have done all that time, that watch your show, man, we got a great opportunity to be really freaking good dudes, man.
That's right.
And be able to change the world, man. Change the world. Tuesday, I'm going down to the parole board, and I'm speaking on behalf of another dude that's done 52 years in prison. And hopefully he gets out, right? On Monday, we're speaking for another dude at the parole board. You got, a documented gang member going to the parole board. They asking me to come speak for this dude. They're taking what I say at heart because of the life that I used to live and now what I do, right? So we can be people, man. We can change lives, and it can happen. But people got to just start doing it, man.
That's right.
Stop living that bullshit in prison, man, because it ain't going to get you nowhere.
Hey, you guys, there you have it. Big Herc, 916, Garrett, Prison Talk.